The most important features in games aren't always the ones you can see, but instead the ones you can feel. Take a look at these two groups. Both of them contain the exact same number of characters, performing the same animations. But it's instantly obvious which one looks more believable than the other. On the left, the uniformity of everything is so unnatural. And on the right, a bit of chaos making it more realistic. And this is all achieved by one simple word: random. By staggering their positions and adding an offset to the animation cycles, they go from clones to a lively group. And this application of randomness is absolutely everywhere in video games. You've just defeated a giant boss in Borderlands, all of that loot is random. You're watching cars drive around in city skylines, they were randomly generated. Every single game will have an element of randomness somewhere, for gameplay or visual purposes. And the best implementations of it are where you can't even notice. One of my favourite games to use randomness really effectively is Terraria. Many of the most powerful items in Terraria can be found as a rare drop from a specific enemy. Now, for most games, this could just be seen as a tedious task, but in Terraria, you will kill hundreds, if not thousands, of each enemy type, and the further into the game you get, the easier it is to kill them. This use case is designed to scale with the player, giving them a very small chance early in the game to get a useful item, or have them wait until they are strong enough to breeze through groups of enemies to farm their drop. And as most enemies have some form of rare drop, collectively they're common enough to keep the player enticed. Honestly, any chance I can get to talk about how good Terraria is, I'm gonna take. This is my zombie survival shooter that I'm currently working on. If you haven't seen the first devlog on it, I'd recommend watching that. The game is in the very early stages so far, but already a few of these systems have a random element built in to give the game more life and to make the gameplay feel more natural. The first section I'm going to demonstrate today is the weaponry. When a gun fires, it shoots out a raycast to see where the bullet goes. But within these stats is a value for inaccuracy. Each gun has a varying level of inaccuracy depending on the type, so SMGs have more variance than snipers. And this is simply done by generating a random number and shifting the ray's direction every time a bullet is fired. Not only does this roughly translate the recoil into a top-down shooter, but it also means that each weapon now has an extra layer to them, meaning players will favour more accurate rifles for longer range engagements. The guns also have a second attribute that's controlled by a random number, and that is the critical hit chance. On every hit, if a random number rolls correctly, the bullets will deal extra damage. Imagine you're fighting an enemy and it's almost got you, but at the last second a crucial bullet lands a critical hit, killing the enemy. This sort of luck can add so much to the game, but can also take away when used incorrectly, which is why it's important to find a good balance in the middle. Too little effect and the feature becomes pointless. Too much, and the entire game will depend on rolling a dice, taking the fun away from the player when the numbers just don't land. Another part of my game that uses randomness effectively is the spawning system. How it works is each wave, a set amount of zombies spawns in to attack the player. Now, this could be done in a simple manner or at predefined times, but it wouldn't feel natural to the player. It would add some layer of skill, learning the spawning patterns of the game, but it could just end up feeling rather stale. So instead, we lean into the randomness to vary the spawning of each wave, and this is done in two ways. The first random function determines where the zombie spawns. Scattered around the map are spawn zones, which in turn have a collection of spawn points inside. The spawn manager checks all of the zones to see if they're valid, adds them to a list if they are, and then randomly picks a zone. Then again, the zone randomly picks one of its spawn points, and a zombie will be added to the queue to spawn at that point. And this will happen for every zombie in the wave. But they can't just all appear at the same time. There needs to be a delay. Again, it could be a set length of time for this, but as we've seen in this video, a bit of randomness can go a long way in improving a game's feel. So when the zones are told to spawn a zombie, instead of instantly calling that function, the zombies are added to a queue, and the zone will cycle through this list with a small delay between each one. With a system like this, I could add rules to the randomness, so that, for example, spawn points can't be used 2 times in a row, or the zombies have to be spread between the zones, creating a more pseudo-random effect. But I've decided to leave it up to chance, as it's mathematically improbable that they're all going to spawn at the same point, and these odds only get smaller with the inclusion of more spawn points. All of these features I've mentioned so far are all gameplay related, so now let's switch over to the game feel side, with some random animations and sounds. To give them a little life, the zombies will grumble and groan around the map as they hunt for the targets, but not even the undead can make the exact same sound every single time. So by using a combination of a few voice lines with some tweaks to the pitch and volume, you can effectively create a massive variety of noises for the zombies to make. And once more, for fun, these voice lines will trigger randomly over time. This application instantly adds to the overall experience and is super easy to implement, which is always a winning combination. These examples are just some of the ways that randomness is implemented in video games. I haven't even gone over map generation, which is essentially RNG with some rules added in, and you can see how impactful it is when used correctly. I've laid out some clear examples on this, so now I'd like to pass it on to you guys. I'd love to hear your opinions, so let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!